This morning, the city's Inspector General's office has released a report about safety inspections here in the city dating back to 2019 and 2020 to see if inspectors actually went to jobs they were supposed to go to. This is something David Hammer has been reporting on for years now. And actually, what we're seeing in the report today is pretty much what you found.
Yeah, it's kind of a head scratcher, Eric, as to why we're hearing now from the Inspector General about what happened with these inspectors 3 years ago. But it backs up exactly what we found, which was that they weren't showing up 20% of the time.
Did it just take this long for them to find this out, or?
Well, we don't know what went into the process of doing this report, but it certainly is behind quite a ways. But what we found is that the investigation we did after we broke the story that 3 city inspectors filed inspection reports for the Hard Rock Hotel without showing up. Right before that, the high-rise collapsed and killed 3 workers. Those inspectors approved the pouring of heavy concrete on the top floors without actually looking at the work in person. And after we discovered that, we looked at the GPS tracking in city vehicles for all city and building inspectors and found they also failed to stop at the addresses they claimed to inspect about 20% of the time. We also reported exclusively on a secret audio recording from September 2019, a month before the Hard Rock collapse, showing the city already knew this was a problem. Now listen to Safety and Permits Director at the time, Zach Smith, telling his inspectors that they actually need to show up and take inspection photographs at the construction sites when they do their inspections.
We don't do a good job keeping those records and creating those records and doing our job, then everybody is relying on that, and it's all going to come tumbling down.
Now, another thing that the Inspector General looked at that we also found is that these inspectors failed to stay at these jobs when they did show up, and they failed to upload photos to the city's tracking system to show that they were actually showing up for these inspections.
And so had it not been for the Hard Rock collapse, would we know about all this?
Well, that's exactly what started this process of looking into
That's what I'm
this.
saying.
But we already knew before the Hard Rock collapse that there was a federal investigation into the building inspectors, and there were bribery charges filed against some of the building inspectors. And we kept investigating after our first investigation into what was going on in 2021, which is why it's strange that the Inspector General is coming out now with this report dating back to 2020, because we looked at it in 2021. It was not getting that much better. It was not improving that much in terms of how often they were showing up. And that leads to what the new news is now, which is that Mayor LaToya Cantrell has started hiring private companies to come in and augment the staff in the inspections office because they are falling way behind. They're not able to keep up with the inspections. And those inspections are important because, as we saw with the Hard Rock,
clearly with the Hard Rock, yeah,
they are there and doing the inspections actively. They can find problems that can prevent major catastrophes from happening. And actually, we heard just last month a person working on a whole house renovation was electrocuted, and that job was being done without permits and without inspections.
So that could have been avoided. David, thank you very much.
Sure.